Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Amber da Silva and I'm an international spiritual business coach, energy worker and alchemist. And today I invited CeCe Clark actually for a beautiful interview about money. So 2 months ago, I held a speaking gig for a group of 80 entrepreneurs. And those entrepreneurs, they struggle with money. And I think and I believe that every entrepreneur struggles with money till a certain point, and that they really have to learn some great lessons about it. So I did it, CeCe did it, and I met CeCe 2 years ago in 2014 on an event. And in that evening, we had a beautiful party on the beach. And while I was talking with CeCe, she shared with me a very personal story about her company, about how she made actually a multi seven figure business. And then suddenly she lost everything. And that is just, yeah, it's weird, it is amazing, it's fascinating because what was the reason why that happened? But also she shared with me actually the way how she get back into business and created again a seven-figure business. So welcome, CeCe Clark. Thank you very much that you really want to share your story, because I believe that everybody will gain great insights about it. So I want to ask you, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Sure, absolutely. So thank you so much, Amber. So just watching you over these past couple of years, first of all, you're so consistent. Like you're always this amazing, beautiful light. You always have a bright smile. You always have amazing energy. I thank you for our relationship from afar, and very excited to share with you and your audience. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
So it's so fun. Like I am CeCe Clark, and I recently got married, so I'm now CeCe President.
Oh, wow, that sounds awesome.
I know, right? Yeah, isn't that a great name? That's such a fun name. But so I am a wealth and wellness coach, and what I really love doing, Amber, is helping people get fit, feel fabulous, and become financially free.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that my life story has always told me is that there is this, as for entrepreneurs, for everybody, right? For all of us, there is this intersection of health and wealth, right? And there is an intersection between those two. And I know for myself that the better I've done in life financially, the healthier I was at that time.
Oh, yes, that's amazing. Yeah.
Right. And so for me, I love helping and coaching entrepreneurs to really create that intersection so that, that they get to create more health in their lives. They get to create more wealth in their lives. That creates more, balance and beauty and abundance in their lives. So that's what I get to do every day with entrepreneurs across the world.
Yes, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And just what you say, well, the better you get, the better health you get, actually. The more wealth you get, the better your health is.
It's so I use the word, they're inextricably linked, right? Like they're
Yeah.
kind of like the yin and the yang, right? They're inextricably linked. Here's the thing, right? So I say all the time, particularly to entrepreneurs, like we experience the world through our bodies, right? We experience the world through our bodies. So how is it that we can have better experiences? We have a better body in which to experience life through.
Yes.
Right? How do you create the best, how can you create the best experiences? Now, some amazing experiences are not created, don't require money to create, a tender hug with your child, a kiss with the love of your life, those kind of things, they don't require money. However, when we talk about a lot of, grand experiences, that tender moment with your child while they are at while they are at the Air and Space Museum because they're absolutely fascinated by space.
Yes.
It's an even different experience that also requires money, right? Having that tender kiss with your husband is a beautiful experience. Having that kiss in your husband in Fiji on the beach, right? Again, it's something that requires money. So all experiences don't require money, right? But a lot of those more epic experiences do. And it also requires a better body through which to experience that with. And so again, it's just this perfect intersection, when we can align those things, right? Like we have a type of balance in our lives that make us more powerful business owners. I believe it makes us more powerful humans, makes us more powerful parents, more powerful partners, more powerful siblings, whatever it is you are, when you can have that balance, in my personal opinion, it enhances every part of your being.
And I so agree with that, because when I struggled in my business and creating money, my health was going down as well, actually. And when I was going out of that struggle into a flow of abundance, I really had to take care of myself in a deeper way, on a deeper level, on a higher level, actually. Because when you start getting busy with helping your clients, and I help my clients in a very intensive way, energetically, on mindset, but also teaching them the marketing skills and the sales skills. Yes, you have to be healthy, and you have to be shining, and be happy within yourself, actually. So I really love what you're doing for the people here on this earth. I really like it. Thank you.
Me too. I really feel, Ember, that that God designed my journey, right? I call him God. People call him whatever you want, but I truly feel that God designed my journey. After I turn off my phone, it still decides to ring, and of course, it's my sister, right? God really designed my journey in such a way that the work that I do, like I lived out the work that I do. And so I believe that he put breath in my body to teach people the importance of that intersection. I think my journey was created so I really had a thorough understanding of what happens for you when you don't take care of your health and when you don't take care of your wealth. And so I always like to say I fell into it kind of by accident, right? Because kind of like as you alluded to. And I had an incredibly successful business. I come from very humble beginnings, Amber, very, very humble. I was the youngest of 4 girls raised by a single mom in a inner city neighborhood and in the United States, where life was just not easy, right? For my mom trying to raise these 4 girls by herself. And there was nothing in my past that said that I would eventually, grow myself to a point where I founded and grew and owned a real estate company that eventually went on to gross over $5 million US. And so just very, very, very unlikely from a person from my neighborhood, right? And it was, and it was a beautiful life and it was a beautiful experience. And I had that business for a number of years. That business did very, very well. It helped so many people who were struggling. Again, it was still all about, even before I knew it, my business, which was a real estate business, was all about helping people who were struggling financially. Like that's something that's always been inside of my heart, just because I watched my mom struggle financially. And I didn't want that for her, and I didn't want that for other people either. I certainly didn't want it for myself. And so even back then, my life was about helping people struggling financially. So it was people who had a home a house that was causing them financial struggle, like I would buy those homes from them, right?
Wow.
And just relieve that pressure and relieve that debt.
Yeah.
But then what I would do is I would turn around and take that home and fix it up and make it beautiful and package it in a way financially so that people who didn't have a lot of money or who had poor credit would be able to afford to buy their dream home. So people who were struggling financially but still wanted to own a home, I, positioned the homes in a way that they could own it, right? That it didn't burden them financially. And I just made money in the middle, right? And it was great. And so I helped a lot of people. I helped a lot of people selling their homes. I helped a lot of people buying their homes. So again, that was part of who I was. Well, about 8-9 years into the business, the real estate market in the United States, it really shifted, and it shifted a lot. And so I went from owning this amazing $5 million company to really losing everything. And at one point I was $2 million in debt. And actually, I was not only $2 million in debt, I was $2 million in debt. I was 60 pounds overweight. Let's see, what is that in kilos? Maybe like 20 kilos overweight. And I was severely depressed.
Yes, I can understand that. So just before we go further, like you came from a family who struggles with money, your mother, but you set up a business. So what were your money imprints? Because I can imagine that when you set up a business with a kind of money mindset beliefs about, well, we don't have enough, there is not enough, we have to work hard. How was that period for you in while you were building your business?
Yes.
What kind of struggles did you experience?
So in my life, right? In my life, growing up, everything was, all you had to have was enough. That was it. Enough was just enough, right? Like, so my mom had 4 daughters, so you only needed 3 bedrooms. That was enough.
Oh, okay, yes.
Right? So 4 daughters, 2, she got a room. 2 sisters shared this room, 2 sisters shared this room, so 3 bedrooms is enough, right? You have 1 pillow on your bed because that's just enough, right? You have 1 pair of shoes that you wear to school because that's just enough.
Yes.
So in my life, it wasn't about, so growing up, it was, you don't need all of this stuff because that's more than enough. That's more than enough. And I was fortunate. I remember, I'll never forget, I was fortunate. I had a godmother who was a well-to-do woman that just decided she just wanted to take me under her wing. She was the mother of my mom's best friend. And she was what I thought was wealthy, right? I thought she was rich. I remember thinking she was rich. She had a big fancy car. It was really, really long and huge and beautiful. And I remember going out to her house, Amber, as a young kid. I was like 9 years old. And I remember going to her house, and the carpet on her floor, it felt like it was this thick and cushy and beautiful. And it was white, right? Like white carpet. And I remember she had a bedroom that nobody slept in. It was only for guests to come and sleep in a bedroom, and it had 2 pillows on it, and it had matching sheets and blankets. And I remember going there as a 9-year-old child. And I remember her, pulling out a pair of pajamas that I got to sleep in. Like, you don't sleep in pajamas, you wear a t-shirt because that's enough.
Enough, yeah.
And I remember going to her home, and I remember walking in on the carpet, and I remember, her putting me in the pajamas. And I remember, the other thing I remember is like, it was the most comfortable bed I had ever slept in my entire life. And so I remember when I went to bed, I just slept and slept and slept. And I didn't wake up until like 11 o'clock in the morning the next day. And when I woke up and I saw the clock, I was so terrified, because in my home, you only sleep enough, right? I could have never slept until 11 o'clock. And I remember getting up and walking out the room and trying to make up a story, like I was going to like pretend I was playing in the room or something. And I remember my godmother, when I walked out of the room, I just looked at her and she said, "Oh, baby, good morning. Did you sleep well?" And that was it. And I remember in that moment thinking, wow, people can have more than enough. Right? People can have more than enough. Like, that's acceptable. Like, that's the first time I remember learning about possibility. Like, that was my introduction to there is something possible. There's something outside of what I already know. And from that moment, Amber, I was hooked on this idea of possibility. From that moment, I was hooked on saying, well, what else is there? What else kinds of things do people do outside of my neighborhood? Well, maybe they go to college outside of my neighborhood, or maybe they travel the world outside of my neighborhood, or maybe they have businesses outside of my neighborhood. So possibility was born for me on that day. And so even though I had this strange money mindset, what drove me was possibility, right? What drove me was that possibility that I got as a 9-year-old girl.
Wow. So, and that makes, and in that way, you make the decision to become an entrepreneur, actually. Just like, okay, I know and feel that I can make more money than just enough.
But you know what? Absolutely. A couple of summers after that fateful day with my godmother, I decided I wanted to start making money for myself. And I decided I didn't want a lemonade stand, because I looked at lemonade stands and they only made 10 cents, right? Like, you make a cup of lemonade, you get a dime. And I figured that's not going to really help me all that much. So I opened my own store outside of my home. And Amber, I sold Pac-Man shaped French fries. Now, so do you remember the game? So you're probably a little younger than I am, but there used to be this game called Pac-Man.
Yeah. Yes, I know that.
Right? And so I would make French fries. So like I would slice a potato and cut it in the shape of a Pac-Man. Mm-hmm. I would fry it, and then I would sell it to people in my neighborhood.
Wow, awesome. I like that.
Right? And so that was when the entrepreneur in me was born. Like, it was so exciting to be able to take something that I loved doing, right? I loved making French fries. I loved making Pac-Man shaped French fries for myself, and taking something that I loved doing, that I was good at doing.
Yeah.
And then making money from it. That was exciting to me. So at that moment is when the entrepreneur in me was born,
Beautiful, beautiful. So, and let's move forward to the day that you saw and felt like, okay, my business is going down. So you said, well, the real estate market was going down, actually. But when you look back to that period of time in your life, how much was external things that influenced your business, and how much percent was just internal stuff about mindset and feelings that turned your business down, actually?
Thank you so much for asking that question, because in the beginning I wanted to blame the economy. I wanted to blame my employees. I wanted to blame, everybody. I wanted to blame everybody. But the reality was there were things inside of me that I realized were all about my mindset that I needed to heal. So, and I can tell you one of them. So when I was a kid, and I can tell you exactly where they came from, right? So Well, I didn't like change. I didn't like change. I liked doing things like if I knew how to do something, I liked continuing to do things that way, right? So I knew, so even though I knew, I could see that the market was shifting. I didn't want to, I continued to buy homes the way I had been buying homes. I continued to do things the same way, thinking that, oh, but this is the way we do it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like the change. Well, I needed to change. I needed to shift. I needed to buy things differently. My friends that survived and continued to thrive shifted, right? They made those changes. When I was a kid, my mom would move from house to house to house. She was always trying to get something a little bit better. So she would move from house to house to house. And because we moved from house to house to house, I had to change from school to school to school. So, in my first probably 8 years of school of education, I attended 6 different schools in those 8 years.
Wow,
Right. And so I felt I wanted the safety and security of doing things the same way. Right. And and so that was a big part of what I had to realize. A big part of what happened for me is just that resistance to change. But there were some other things that were also in play for me as well. There was still a part of me, that even though I had created this amazing business, there was still a part of me that said that I didn't deserve, right? Like that I didn't deserve to have all of this money. Like, who am I? I'm a, poor Black kid from inner city Ohio. Like, who am I? Like, how do I get to have all of this? Why am I different? Why am I special? There was still a lot of that going on in my head, and it impacted my decisions. So I constantly found myself trying to prove things to people.
Oh yeah.
Trying to prove to a seller, that, oh, I have the money to buy your house in cash, but that wasn't the best way to buy that house. Or trying to prove to a buyer, trying to prove to somebody who wanted to buy a house, well, I don't need the money, so I'll give you an even deeper discount than I should, right? Constantly trying to prove to outrun my own stinking thinking that said, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So much I came to realize of my company's demise was not really was about the economy. It was all about me needing to heal my heart, and so that's what I went about doing. And I really was very, very intentional about healing my heart. Around, I have this, so after having lost the business and lost everything, I really, Amber, for about 24 months, I laid down on my life. It's the only way I can say it. Like I was alive but lifeless.
Yeah.
I was, in this state of depression. I didn't, really talk to my family. I hid from the world. I ended up taking a job. I always laugh. I ended up taking a job making $14 an hour.
Yeah.
With a master's degree. And I literally laid down on my life, and for 2 years, but something happened where I had to have a surgery about 2 years into it, and I needed to, I had to be still. I had to lay in the bed. I had to heal my body. That intersection, right? Yeah. I had to heal my body, and through that healing process, it allowed me to have a little bit of strength to just start evaluating and thinking about the decisions I had made, and thinking about the choices I had made, and just really evaluating how I got into that point. And so I just started doing little things, just little bitty things that kind of grew my confidence, So little things like I started walking, right? Just walking, nothing big, right? Nothing big, just a walk, but then eventually that walk led way to, I would kind of jog a little bit, not fast, just a little bit, and that jogging gave way to, I did used to like investing in the stock market. Maybe I'll look at that again.
Yes.
That looking at it said, well, maybe allowed me to say, maybe I'll try to do some paper trading, right? Like, so it's not trading real money. I didn't really have any real money. But maybe I'll try paper trading and see how that works. And that paper trading gave me the confidence gave me the confidence to say, well, maybe I can try to take on one client. Right. And so it was just those little bitty things that just gave way to this confidence. And within another 12 months, I had grown another successful business. It hit the 7-figure mark as well. And, and it really allowed me the space, right? Like, cause I hadn't fully healed my heart. I was healing it, but through the financial resources that they gave me, it allowed me to create the space in my life to really take 3 months and deep dive and truly heal my heart.
That's so beautiful. And I recognize that when you lose money or your business or whatever, you're not only losing money, but also your self-worth and your self-trust and your self-valuation and that kind of things. Yeah. So it's beautiful actually how you build step by step your self-trust and gain self-trust and just shifted those things actually.
And it's beautiful that you use the word shift, because let me tell you what I did. When I went back and I figured, you had to reverse engineer some things, right? And when I went back and I figured out what I did something that I then named my shift framework. And I realized, I'm going to walk you through it in a second, but what I realized is that every critical moment in my life, every critical moment where a shift took place, there were 5 things that I did every single time without fail that became a part of a framework that I now teach people. In that shift framework, the S stands for just suppose that you could. So, the first thing I teach people is just suppose that you could. Like, what's a vision for that future? What would it look like if you were creating a shift? So for your entrepreneurs that, are struggling with finances, suppose that you could, have amazing finances, right? The first part is just to understand what that would look like and just really have a beautiful vision for it. The H in that SHIFT framework, the H stands for heal your heart. So many of us, life broke our hearts in one way or the other. And it is so hard to create through a broken heart. So the second part of that framework is to heal your heart. The I in that framework is looking at infinite possibilities, right? Looking at what are the possibilities for the future, and really understanding, what's possible and creating a plan to get to what's possible. The F in that framework is really about fueling your vision and doing the things that really power up your vision. What is that? Empowering your vision, could be a number of different things, right? I teach a framework about powering your vision. You have to have those infinite possibilities, right? You have to have the idea, the vision, but also you have to have what I call something that acts as a dog chasing you, right? Even when there's not, you have to have something that's behind you, pushing you to get there. You know, some accountability, a coach, right? Those are things that fuel, fuel it for you. Right? And then the last part, that T, is what I call a transport vehicle, or your transportation. What is the vehicle that you're going to use to get to that place that you're trying to go to? What's the vehicle that you're going to use if you're an entrepreneur struggling with finances, for example, to get to that place that you want to be? Maybe your vehicle is, is selling Pac-Man shaped French fries. I don't recommend that one anymore. But, maybe your vehicle, is creating and selling beautiful journals, like my friend JB Owen. That we both know that's created, right? Maybe your vehicle, is training and speaking or coaching, or maybe your vehicle, is marriage counseling. Whatever it is, you have to have a vehicle that allows you to get to that place you want to go. So thank you for using the word shift, because that's exactly what the process that I went through every single time. And it's now what I teach other entrepreneurs to do.
Yes, and it is actually a beautiful process, because when you are in debt or in fear about money, you cannot think about a vision or the future or whatever, because the only thing that you see are money issues, debts, and you feel a lot of fear and like, oh my gosh, I'm almost dying. For some reason, our brain is producing those thoughts.
Yes.
And then the first S is actually helping you to get out of that space and just look at the other side of your fear. And then you actually go into, you call it your fuel, but also you get connected with yourself and your life purpose. Like if your soul gifts are like speaking or divine self-expression or whatever, then you can do that. And you are in alignment with your soul and you create abundance. So
yes.
I like that.
Absolutely. That's it. You absolutely got it. You absolutely got it.
And I work a lot with entrepreneurs, and when I do like readings and energy readings, I really see all those kind of programs that people have, the I'm not good enough program, the I'm not deserve it program, things imprints, or it's what I call them, from father side and the mother side. And people are not aware of that. But when I work with people, I go back to that first moment in their life where they made the decision, okay, I'm not good enough because maybe their parents reject him or her. And once you clear that, then you can create that bigger vision. You feel more energized and more in alignment. Yeah, so I think it is wonderful, great work what you are doing, and your story is so beautiful, actually. It was a hell maybe for you back at that time, but it is beautiful, because that's why you can teach now other entrepreneurs to get more wealth and health.
Amber, I'm so grateful for my journey. Like, it took a long time. Like, trust me, when I was $2 million in debt and 60 pounds or 20 some kilos overweight, I was not grateful. Today, I am grateful for that journey. Let me tell you, I live in the place that I call authentic happiness. Yes. Literally, Amber. Every single day I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I've never been this happy before in my life. And then I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh my God, I have never been this happy before in my life. Like, that's where I live. Like, I live in a place of authentic happiness, and I know, like, I literally just came back from, I took 6 weeks off, right? And my sweet darling love of my life went away, had this beautiful epic wedding on a beach in a beautiful island in the Caribbean, surrounded by some of our closest family and friends. And then we proceeded to have not one, but 4 different honeymoons in 4 different countries. right? And just did everything we wanted to do, created all kinds of amazing experiences. Um, you know, just loving life. And I know that I don't get to have this without having gone through that.
Yes, I can
And
really.
so to get to this place, to get to where I am today, being, you know, happy and loving and married to this my soulmate from when I was 18 years old, like I would have gone through 10 times that to get here.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
that's
great.
so beautiful because you know a lot of people they ask me, Emma, I just want to become more spiritual or want to do something in personal development. Do you recommend something? And then I always say, well, just become an entrepreneur because this is your fastest bet on personal development and heal your shit actually.
You
And
know, Amber, I call it personal development with a paycheck.
yes, yes. And yes, you have to go through your shit and fears and whatever. And yes, and sometimes it is painful and scary. But I know, you know, when you go through it, yes, the other side is better and you feel happier. And I love it when you use the word authentic happiness because that's how I feel as well. When I go somewhere, I just feel happy. And yeah, that's something that's me, actually. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Is there one big insight or another lesson that you want to share before we wrap up this conversation?
Yeah, you know what? If there was one thing that I would tell entrepreneurs, that one thing I would really say, um, of everything that we talked about, the one thing that's going to make all the difference in the world is for you to heal your heart. Right?
Yes, heal your heart.
Really do the work. Really do the work to find that place, right? To find that first time where life broke your heart, and 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 clear your filter, right? And clear the filter. We all live life through a filter. That filter was created the first time that life broke our hearts. You know, so the work that Amber was talking about. So if you want to create success, lasting success, and it's not just about financial, right? It's about, you know, it's about success knowing that you're living in your purpose. It's about the success knowing that you're providing an amazing life for your family. A success knowing that you have the freedom to enjoy the people that you say are important to you in your life. Like that kind of success is going to require that you heal your heart, you know, and truly live in a place that that is your own version of authentic happiness. That's what I would say.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very much. And yes, it's true. It's all about the inner work. And then you see the outer, your reality will change because you change your worlds actually. So yes, that's so important. So if people want to find more about you, what is your website, for
you.
example?
Absolutely. Feel free to visit me on my website. I am at www.cececlark.com. That's www.cececlark.com. You can also find me all over social media. I am at Just Ask CeCe. JUSTASKCECE everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, that's where I am at Just Ask CeCe. I'd love to connect with you.
Yes, and it's nice to connect with CeCe. So I think that's awesome. And if you want to know more about me, you can go to www.emberdasilva.com. And if you have any questions, just send me an email, and we look forward to it. Actually, ask your questions. Yes, I like that. And I will say thank you very very much, CeCe. And for everybody who are listening or watching this video, thank you very much. Leave a comment, send me an email or whatever. And I will say have a great day until the next time. Bye-bye.